诺奖女科学家是如何处理婚姻关系的？是如何将女儿培养成奥运世界冠军的？是如何拥有爱人和热爱事业的能力的？是如何在40年的冷板凳当中继续自己事业奋斗的？那么这期视频我们继续通过 mRNA 诺奖得主 Katalin Karikó 和我们硅谷101的独家专访，来走进这位女科学家强大的内心。Hello， 大家好，欢迎收看硅谷101，我是陈倩。那么上一期视频当中，我们是主要勾勒了 Katalin 的整个人生的起伏非常的精彩。没有看的可以去我们主页翻一下我们上一条视频去看一下。但是呢，我觉得还是有点遗憾是因为他跟我分享的很多有意思的对话呢，在上一个视频没有完全的放出来。而这些观点和他的人生态度呢，我觉得是对我们当代年轻人，甚至是普通打工族呢，都有着非常值得借鉴的意义。所以呢，这一期视频呢，我们就按照话题上线于2023年诺贝尔生理学或医学奖得主 mRNA 疫苗技术奠基人 Katalin Karikó 的完整英文版采访。For your whole life, you devoted so much time on research and science that you said you needed your husband to support your dream and your daughter to be independent. I know this is such a cliched question, but how do you handle work-life balance as a mom, as a wife, and also as a female scientist?
Yours for the girls, obviously, they don't make a decision to have family and good profession and good scientists. I myself, have a daughter, and so for that one, definitely they have to select a good husband, a good partner, because But I think the husband has to appreciate that the wife has a dream. Because when the child is crying there, or the elderly parents are there, everybody is looking at the woman. They should take care of the babies. Who should? They should be, and then even the women would feel that okay, this problem is right there. The child is crying, and if they don't have enough money, because the childcare is very expensive. Then they give up their dreams, and I tell them not to give up. You don't have to overdo, maybe in the first year, but you have to be with child, but you don't have to assist your child that much. You have to love them, but they like to be independent. So let them do and participate in the family life. Do some chores, and they will be proud. Don't think that it is child labor. No, So that's what I try to tell them, that, it is more important what you are acting, because I watch my parents, how they relate to each other and to other people. And that's what, shaping your personality. And that's what your child will do. Watch you that work hard, and then they try that, they appreciate, and they want to follow what you are doing. Yeah, so that's just do your work.
Katalin 在她的自传当中花了很大的篇幅去讲她和她丈夫一路走过来的恋爱故事，互相的扶持，互相尊重的情节，非常的感人那么 Katalin 遇到她丈夫的时候呢，她22岁，大学快毕业，但丈夫 Bella Francia 才17岁，高中毕业后呢是成了机械工人。那么虽然一个是博士后一个是高中毕业，而且两个人的工作也差得很远，但是 Katalin 从来都非常的尊重 Bella 的工作，还有她的骄傲，就像她尊重她自己的父亲是个屠夫一样。那 Katalin 认为，只要你做一行，在这一行里面用心做到最好，那么任何的工作都是值得骄傲的。包括后来 Katalin 把实验室当中很多坏掉的实验用品和仪器拿回家，巴拉都能够很快的给她修好。那么 Katalin 就觉得自己的老公非常让她骄傲和开心。而 Bella Francia 呢，也是给了 Katalin 无尽的支持还有爱。Bella 从一开始呢就知道 Katalin 投身于科学的决心，所以之后陪她到美国，陪她度过漫长 长的艰辛岁月照顾好女儿。在他们结婚的时候啊，匈牙利的女性啊都要冠上丈夫的姓名，但是 Katalin 和 Bella 呢都很喜欢自己的姓，所以他们一直都是 Katalin Karikó 和 Bella Francia。那两个独立的个体，纯粹的爱和欣赏，理解对方的梦想和骄傲，并且呢给了女儿营造出温暖、有爱和快乐的家庭。那么这是 Katalin 在家庭和婚姻上的做法，那也成了他几十年不如意的科研生活的坚强的后盾。而在 Katalin 的教育理念上，我觉得还给我挺大启发的，因为呢，他要在科研上去投入非常多的时间，所以呢，从女儿一出生开始呢，他就告诉女儿 Susan，女儿一定要独立，而 Katalin 她的科研生涯呢，取决于女儿有多么的独立。但对于 Susan 坚韧、想要做到最好、想要赢的性格呢 ，Katalin 是逐一培养的，并且呢，她并没有缺席女儿的成长。那书中还写到，有一次 Susan 还很小的时候呢，回家写一个社会研究的作业 ，Susan 呢就想了一个非常有野心的主题啊，但是呢，两人都低估了这项作业要耗费的时间。那么结果是呢 ，Katalin 陪着 Susan 熬了整整一个通宵，一夜没睡，和Susan 一起呢实现了 Susan 在这个作业上她想要做到的最好的效果还有深度。那么 Katalin 在书中就写道：“我注意到她的决心，她的专注度，她因为聚焦而咬紧的下颚。” Susan 是像 Katalin 的，这就是 Katalin 所说言传身教。后来呢 ，Susan 是考上了宾夕法尼亚大学，并且成为了赛艇的2届奥运冠军。Would you say Susan is like you a lot?
You know, we didn't have here money, but I mean, we came in this country. I never had a housekeeper. Nobody ever 1 hour cleaned our home. We never had a babysitter. So in the school, we put Susan there, and the elementary school, they had this after school program, and that's why she started to do all of these sports, because that was the after school program. And then, you know, she friended with all of those other kids, and that's good. Beijing, and we were there in the Shunyi, this is rowing venue, and we stay nearby in a very Chinese hotel, very ancient. And my sister was there, my husband was there. We went to the opening ceremony. I mean, it was unbelievable, fantastic. It's all of those drummers, and it was so hot. The weather was very warm, and this unbelievable performance we could see there. Anyway, but you know, when they were in the final and they get the gold medal and everything, you know, people telling me, "Oh my God, if my daughter would get the gold, oh, what I would do." But for me, it was just a relief that finally over, because you have to understand that for 4 years, every day, every morning, every day, they are practicing. And then after, she always called me, you know, when I was working in the lab, and told me that, oh, today it didn't went well. And then I had to always prepare in my mind what I will tell her to, you know, keep her spirit up. and that 4 years, you know, it was like a second or 5 minutes that they have, you know, the gold medal. But yeah, it was like 4 years every day getting the phone call. And of course, we were very proud of her. And we went, we were, you know, in the big nest. Also, we have seen different athletics. We also went to look at swimming, basketball, different kind of competition. We went there in Beijing, and it was just so perfectly arranged, beautiful.
You seem so self-motivated all the time. You do your hard work, you make sure you're the best, you move forward and stay focused. I'm just wondering if self-motivation is something you're born with, or it's gained later from your surroundings, like your parents.
I'm sure that seeing our parents is helping us, because we can see that how hard they work. I'm sure that you have seen your parents, and then you try to imitate them, and you appreciate that what they gave you, and then you want to put in a new level. And because my parents had just elementary school education, and my sister, who's 3 years older, she got a PhD in economy. So, you know, we went to high school, university. I mean, that was so far, far away what our parents could, but because they had no chance to go to school, they work very hard. You know, it's important that in addition to your daily work, you set up some kind of goals, and you work towards, you finish, you submit that's already victory.
好，说完了家庭，那么接下来说一下 Katalin 在职业上的心态。那么在上期视频中，我们说到他经历了40年的打压、被冷落、被威胁、不被重视，是一个边缘角色啊。很多观众们都好奇他是如何坚持下来，并且在这样的环境当中啊，继续去追求自己所热爱的事业的。那么相信呢，接下来的对话会对大家有一些启发。What is your career suggestion for the young people or the new graduates?
For all of the young one, I would say that they have to select something, a profession that they enjoy, what they are doing. You have to have fun. I mean, you spend most of your life in the lab or reading. You have to enjoy it. I usually didn't say, but I even enjoy writing grants because I had to focus on, I had a deadline and I had to read and finish and thinking what is the outcome, what I will do. So they have to enjoy. And if, they enjoy, following instruction, they should go to military. If they enjoy to be a spotlight, they should be an actress or reporters like you are here, they are in the spotlight. But if they want to solve puzzles and problem and which will help eventually somebody, science is for them.
How do you cope with pressure and long-term anxiety, both physically and mentally?
So it is very important to have physical and mental health because, they can overdo it and they can burn out, that they will not care anymore anything. So you have to maintain a healthy balance. And physical health is important. So that's why I was running, And then in a mental health is that, don't agonize on things. So that, this Shaya said that, you have to have homeostasis. If something bothers you, you just, okay, in this 2 hours, I will decide what, I heard somebody, I said something I shouldn't. Okay, I have to decide right now. I don't care anymore, or I will go there and apologize. I can do that. Whether somebody will forgive me or not, I cannot control that. So you have to always decide what I can do and then close down and then don't agonize on it and keep, thinking about something which bothers you. And if you don't like in a place, I mean, when you go to work, you have to be happy. Oh, he's here. Oh, what's going on? And work together. But you go to some toxic place, you can walk out. The door is there. You can make a decision. And so because you have to be happy. You have to be happy. And then you can create yourself good environment and help others who might not knowing that. So that's very critical.
Over the years, have you often thought of Mr. Bitter or those who had given you such a hard time?
No, I have to say also that I met him after I was accepted to the university. But that's what it is. You don't carry any grudge against anybody. It poisons you. So that when I was accepted to the university, I didn't went to him. When we went to 5 years reunion at the high school, I didn't went to tell him, oh, you see, I am in the university. No, you didn't stop me. If you think about, and that's what many award ceremony, I thank to the people who try to make my life miserable. I thank them because they made me work harder. If he says to me when I was 18 that I make sure that I arrange that you will be accepted the university, well, probably in the summer I will sit back. I am in, But he said he will make sure that I don't get, so I had to be the best. And so it inspired me to work harder. So thanks to him. You have to practice this. It's not coming easy when you are fired from your position and to be happy that, oh, that's great. I have a new opportunity to find another job. No, you don't. You get thinking what happened, but do not spend time to feel sorry for yourself and thinking about that you have some more colleagues there who are, in your opinion, is worse, and why not them? And it's because it can take out all of your energy. You have to immediately, okay, it is done. And then you focus on what can I do? I was not happy that I was terminated in Hungary. I was not happy that, they took my stuff out of my lab here, But without it, probably you won't get the BioNTech Pfizer vaccine, maybe, So that it is to go to Germany and what next when I am 58 years old and I am terminated. I could sit at home and see the grass growing, but I said, okay, I still can do things, and then go there. And that's always your decision. So somebody else deciding that you are not good enough, but you believe in yourself, and then you find a new job. And that's your decision. So that's empowering, and all of your energy you have to put into that next one.
不怨恨，不专注负面情绪，永远去寻找下一个解决方案。那么这是 Katalin 给出的答案，那我觉得呢也是非常的受用啊。当然，在 Katalin 获得诺贝尔奖并且出版了他的自传之后呢，书中提到的相关的欺压过他的人，甚至呢包括宾大医学院啊，都是遭遇到了极大的社会批评还有舆论压力。但是我觉得还是挺为 Katalin 出了口气的啊。但是呢 ，Katalin 呢，他也在专访当中说到，无论是荣誉还是失败，要学会接受，也要学会坦然的面对。Whom did you call on the day when you heard you won the Nobel Prize?
I tried to call my daughter, but she was sleeping and turned off all of the telephone. You know, she has a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. And those people do not need to set up their alarm clock because they have 2 alarm clocks. Those children would wake up, and then she told. Then I called my sister when I learned, you know, and she could turn on the TV and watch it. But my daughter was just later on. She said that her son woke her up, and so she went to prepare something because he was hungry. And then she turned on the telephone, and all of these messages there, and congratulating her. And she started to cry. And the little boy was, "Mommy, it's okay." He didn't know why she was crying.
How does it feel like to save billions of lives?
Yes, I have to say that there is an elderly home, Meadowbrook elderly home, which in New York, they received, the resident there received the vaccine. And 1 week later, first person get infected, and then more infected. And they knew prior to that, it was in 2021, January, prior to that, they knew that if in an elderly home, infection is there, 1/3 of the people died, and nobody died. And they just get one vaccines, and this was already sufficient, you know, 1 dose to protect them. And then, you know, they figured out that they have to say thank you to me. And so in 21 September, they had a Karikó Appreciation Day, and all of the elderly were sitting in the sun, and they were celebrating. They had a T-shirt with my picture on it, and Karikó Appreciation Day, and they were just, you know, and the staff sent me the pictures that how happy the residents were. And then, you know, there is not even a Nobel Prize can generate that kind of feeling, you know, when you see these elderly people happy, and they send me pictures when the first time, you know, when it was Mother's Day, and the children could visit their elderly mother there, and they took pictures, and so that was, you know, feeling that how important. I don't take it that I discovered. I did. So many people. This we did together, because all of those people. I mean, messenger RNA was discovered 60 years ago, and during those 60 years, so many people worked and advancing, and I feel that not just my colleague at BioNTech or Pfizer or Moderna, we did all together, but even those who not with us anymore. So all contributed to it. So I just feel collective happiness that it worked.
As a scientist, a failure perhaps is something you have to deal with all the time, while breakthroughs take so many years. How do you keep your passion in the lab?
You don't have to so seriously take failure. You know, if you are a scientist, you constantly fail, you know, because you said, oh, experiment did not work. But I had a Leonardo da Vinci quote there that experiment never fails, only your expectation, because you didn't do the experiment you expected the result for. So but we constantly experimenting things that we expected something and we didn't happen in an experimental setting, and we know that okay, this happens, and just you stand up and move on and do the next experiment and try to figure out why you didn't get the result you expected, and so that's it. And the good spirit. So if you are not happy, as understand for the graduation, Steve Jobs said that if a couple of days, one day after the other, you think about that it would be the last day of my life, this is what I would want to do, and a couple of days you think, no, I don't want, then you have to leave that thing. You have to be enjoying whatever you are doing, and it could be the weirdest thing. I mean, many people thought I am unsuccessful, but I was very, very happy in the lab. I know that I didn't get the money, but, I was full control. I could do every experiment. I did with my own hands because I had no help, but it was fun. It has to be fun.
那么在我们的采访当中啊，也对 Katalin 的毕生研究的 mRNA 技术做出了探讨。Katalin 呢说，他现在正在研究新的方向还有技术，并不再是 mRNA， 因为研究的基石工作已经完成。那么接下来，书上公司们、代药厂们还有资本们将会把这个技术啊做到更加广泛的治疗还有产品当中去，未来呢依然有巨大的潜力。It looks like you already knew you were gonna commit your lifetime research on mRNA since very early, since probably your BRC time in Hungary. I'm just curious what made you so certain mRNA is gonna work.
Oh, you have to understand, I am not a smart person who figured out that as an undergraduate. Of course not. It is just, this was the only place I could get a job. And who was leading the lipid team, one day just entered a guy who was head of the RNA team, and he said he has opening, and I was looking for a place to do my PhD. And I said, okay, that's how it is. I was not a visionary. I was just, whatever was, came in front of me, then I tried to tackle and try to be good at, and then I started to work there. RNA already in 78, synthesized chemically, enzymatically, shorter RNA molecule that had antiviral effect. I had to set up an antiviral screening laboratory. I studied everything about viruses and did all of this work.
What's next for the mRNA technology?
So prior to COVID vaccine, mRNA was used already different therapies, actually for even infectious diseases, because for rabies, the rabies virus, Zika virus, for example, there were already clinical trials run by CureVac and Moderna. So there were trials prior to 2020. And mRNA was clinical trial for heart failure already. So just the people who were not attending to our little mRNA therapy meeting, they were not aware of that the mRNA, the messenger RNA, is already in the clinic. So right now, companies are developing messenger RNA for other infectious diseases. Many of them, we don't have any vaccine, like HIV. They are trying to develop for those which we have, like RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, or shingles, which we have for shingles, but it is very expensive, and then the messenger RNA would be, vaccine would be more affordable. In addition to that, actually the mRNA was first used for quite a while and well advanced is cancer vaccines. So that advancing both in Moderna and BioNTech and other companies started to use also as a vaccine. And at the BioNTech, I worked oncology field, but those with my colleagues there, we developed, it was not vaccine, but it was messenger RNA coding for antibody which recognize tumor-related proteins. So this we did animal study, and now it is in human trial. These were bispecific antibodies. We also did a development of mRNA coding for cytokines, which was injected to the tumor and made the cold tumor hot. And this is also with Sanofi entered clinical trial. In addition to that, you can see that rare disease therapy, now that Karikó just recently injected the first patient who had cystic fibrosis and inhaled the messenger RNA for the correct receptor. And other rare disease is also used. And for in using tolerance for different like peanut allergy or dust mite allergy. And so there are more and more trial is entering, and of course, the bacteria. So the TB, for example, or for Lyme disease, they also developing messenger RNA-based vaccination.
最后呢，回到目前整个的科研现状上来啊。前段时间呢，我去了趟波士顿去主持哈佛中国论坛，顺便呢是拜访了一些当地的生物技术公司投资人。大家说呢，在前段时间对 CRISPR 还有基因编辑等等技术的热潮过去之后呢，目前整个 biotech 的赛道依然是处于寒冬。这个赛道的投资周期太长，风险太大，不确定性太高，使得缜密的科学研究和急迫想要推动技术商业化的资本成为了相斥的力量。Katalin 说，他理解硅谷，但是准备不充分的科学注定是会失败的。Venture capitalists here in Silicon Valley always want to chase and go after fancy names, right? They want to get FDA approval as fast as they could and make sure the technologies have product market fit. But the fact is, we've been seeing the ups and downs of the recent biotech waves. Take CRISPR as an example. What's your suggestion to biotech startups?
Yes, this is really the science is an endurance sport. You have to get long distance for, and this is not a sprint. And of course, many venture capitalists want to get money back and quickly pushing products to push to the clinical trial. And of course, it's not well prepared, and then they fail. And so they are not patient. And so I cannot change that. I just, what I am doing is, try to focus on thing and try to read and find out, like in this new project, what other clinical trial was done, what did they measure, why it is failed, and learning from all of these things. So it takes time, and so it is. We have just limited time in a day, and then we have to absorb so many different fields, so many experiments which were done, and we don't have to do it, but it takes time to read and understand and come up with the best solution. And as I describe in the book, every time we made experiments, try to answer one question, we get more questions and not the answer. And that's, we have to be researcher because we are searching and researching. That's why we are researcher, not just searcher. And so it is a lot of repetition, and you have to be confident that your data is reproducible. It's not just for small companies failing because they rushed, but many of the papers, they had to retract because it was not ready. And it is also that, kind of the publication and getting more reference for it. It is somehow as a currency, and it started to be, this is the goal, to get more money, more promotion, and advancing scientifically in a hierarchy, and instead of focusing on understanding that field of science, it's somehow, I could see the disappointment is coming also from the shift, because all of a sudden when you are waiting for the promotion and all of these things, is not depending on you. Somebody make a decision, but the science to investigate, it is always there. And you can work on it, and we will never disappoint you. And it is fun. I mean, to be a scientist is fun, but you cannot set up a goal that, oh, I will be a professor, I will have a big team, I will be a chairman. You cannot.
You mentioned that Penn has this dollar per net square footage policy. for the department to make sure staff and researchers can bring funding in. Maybe it's not a Penn thing. It's like all across the US or the world, but it doesn't sound very fair to scientists, including yourself.
I was terminated in my position 10 years ago, so I don't have a laboratory here anymore. I was forced to retire, and then I don't get any laboratory, any team. I don't have here at University of Pennsylvania. How could I stay with the system? I didn't get support. But for 7 years, Elliot Barnett and my colleague who hired me at cardiology, he paid my salary. It was supposed that as a faculty, I supposed to get the grant. But even I didn't get the grant. For 7 years, he paid my salary. And when it was there that now he has to leave, there were another person. This was David Langer, the neurosurgeon, who was just a resident, but he could convince the chairman of neurosurgery that they need a molecular biologist, and they gave me laboratory and a small salary. So that it is people who are working together with colleagues, and they can see that the person is doing good. So maybe there should be some extra fund to help those scientists, because they both recognize that what I am doing is interesting. We did together, and of course they were there in Stockholm when I get the Nobel Prize. Both of them were there. I invited them because they saved me. Because of them, I could work 24 years at Penn.
Do you use some generative AI tools like ChatGPT? Does that help with your research?
Yes, of course, they are already using and figuring out things which you couldn't imagine. And of course, how good it is, how good the data that you feed into, is. And many things, when I am reading, unrelated ideas, come only in your, not artificial, but the natural intelligence, your brain will come, oh my God, I didn't know that. And then you are the only one who can put together. You never feed the data that because you don't know that it is related to certain things. Of course, it improves, and but everything can be, just like if you think about many advancement, drones, they can carry medicine in Africa, remote area. They can carry a bomb to kill people. Everything can be used, good and bad. That was the same. The social media, you can information, you can spread, some misinformation or good information, so that it depends on how you are using it, and hopefully the next generation of students will learn, and they will use it for good reason.
You mentioned in your book that you would always keep your window open, especially when you are tired, to let the cold wind come into the house to keep you awake. Is your window open right now?
No, I didn't open, actually, but you can see what I can see here. But during the night, even if it is snowing outside, I keep open during the night. I don't really sleep much.
Do many people ask you when you're gonna officially retire?
Even today, when people say, oh, you can stop now, Kati, you did enough. But when I have the feeling that I might be able to help somebody, because I understand. I feel I understand the disease and nobody understands. And I understand. And I even have a solution. This is like a blessing and a curse to be a scientist, because, the curse is that it won't let you to sit down because those people are suffering, and you might have the solution. And then it is just urging you that you have to read more. You have to figure out how you can help directly sooner than later then. And they are waiting. The patients are there, and they are waiting, and they are suffering. And somehow it is just I cannot lay back. When I go to visit my daughter in San Diego, I said, what are those people doing on the beach? They have something to do. My daughter always laughing at me that I said, I won't be able to leave here, I cannot watch that people all Sunday morning, they are playing balls in the sand. Yeah, so probably not good for everybody to be a scientist. Special mind setting, and definitely to be a scientist is not a family-friendly position, and because you are always your mind is somewhere else. Many times it was in the supermarket, they came to something in my mind, and of course half of the thing I supposed to purchase that I forget completely, because I came to that, I think that somebody must be measured. That's the thing which can drive me all night, because I realized something and then I said, somebody has done, and I have to find. And prior to that, 15, 20 years ago, I had to wait next day to go to the library and find those references. But now it is in front of me on the computer, and I look at this paper, find something that it must be here, not here, the references, I like, okay, more reference. And then it was midnight, and now it is 2 o'clock, I should go to sleep, but you cannot fall asleep because you feel that would be answer one part of the questions. And then this kind of thing, you can name it curse, but the scientists just cannot stop. As long as they move, they try to find solution for problems. Yeah, probably never rest. 6 feet under, probably I will rest. But until that, I try my best and to help.
好的，那么以上呢就是我们硅谷101专访 Katalin Karikó 的全部内容，关于爱、家人、教育，关于职业和热爱，关于技术、科研和人类的未来。希望大家和我一样能从中得到非常多的鼓励和启发。如果喜欢我们的内容，记得关注我们的账号。你们的点赞、评论还有转发呢，是支持我们做深度高质量内容的最佳动力。那我们就下期节目再见啦，拜。